مساء الفل، يا رب تكونوا بخير وصحة وسعادة. النهاردة فيديو سريع كده حبيت اطلع معاكم. السيشن حضرتها ومكافأة للناس كلها، المتابعين بتوعي حصري عملت لكم تسجيل ليها. القطاع الطبي متفوق بغزارة في المقاطعة دي، وقطاع الاي تي فيه فرص كتير جدا، والتوظيف زي ما الست قالت غالبا هم عاوزين من بره كندا. ف حصري ليكم، يا ريت ان انتوا يلا كله يشير الحلقة دي عشان الناس كلها تستفيد، ولو وصلتوا الحلقة دي لحوالي 20,000 مشاهدة انا هعمل لكم مكافأة ليكم. يا رب الحلقة تعجبكم وتبقى كويسة. لايك وسبسكرايب بقى ودعم للقناة. تمام، السلام عليكم.
Sorry, everyone. Just give me 1 second.
We have time.
Okay. Okay, here we go. Sequence bio. Okay. And then I'm going to share. Okay, so I'm sharing you can see, everybody can see? Okay, so Richard, you just tell me when you want me to like scroll down as you're talking, and I'll be your Vanna, and I'll scroll down.
Thank you, Vanna. Appreciate that.
Okay, all right, so I'm gonna stop sharing the screen because everybody is, I don't wanna ruin the surprises. Give me 1 moment. Oh, I have to stop sharing, that's why. I'm sharing, stop sharing, there we go. All right, so we now have 428 participants. So I think it's, and the number keeps going up, so I think we shall start. It's 7:06. I want to honor everybody's time here today. I can see the screen. That's good, Vivian. Okay, so good evening, everyone. I appreciate your patience so very much today. For those of you that watched our technical dress rehearsal, again, thank you for your kind words and offer of help and assistance. I think we have it though. And I encourage everyone that has smartphones with them today to have them at the ready, because interspersed in our presentation, we have a number of QR codes that will be linking to important links for Newfoundland programs, and also some of our federal websites that are important, such as the Come to Canada Wizard. My name is Felicity Smith, and I'm a migration officer at the Canadian Embassy here in beautiful, sunny, and currently very, very hot Abu Dhabi. And I'm really excited to be co-hosting this event today. The event is going to promote immigration programs to Canada's most eastern and what I would argue most friendly province, which is Newfoundland and Labrador. And I can tell you that, there was a huge interest in this event. So I'm really, really excited because it seems like a lot of people are really, really interested in Newfoundland. You're going to hear about that today. I'm joined today by Mr. Kamral Islam, who is the Manager of Labor Attraction within the Office of Immigration and Multiculturalism in the Department of Immigration, Population Growth and Skills within the Government of Newfoundland and Labrador. And I'm also joined by employers from six companies that are looking to increase their workforce. So first we will hear from Danielle Hopkins and Colleen Butler from Eastern Health, which is the largest integrated health authority in Newfoundland and Labrador, employing approximately 13,000 dedicated employees. And all the tech workers on the line, you're going to be interested in our second employer, Speaker Carla Hayward from Tech NL, a not-for-profit industry association representing the province's technology and innovation sector. Then we're going to hear from Leslie Kavanaugh from Tiffany Village, a Newfoundland owned and operated company, which is one of the province's leading providers of senior living. Then Nicole Bishop will speak about hiring needs of PolyUnity, and which is partnered with Eastern Health Living Labs Innovation Program to develop advancements in the healthcare and manufacturing fields locally and around the world. After Nicole, Dr. Richard Leach from Sequence Bio will speak about the recruitment needs of his organization, which is a biotechnology company located in Newfoundland's beautiful capital city, St. John's. I've told them amazing things about the talent that is here in the Gulf. I've personally lived here for 3.5 years, and I've had the opportunity to meet some really amazing and talented people. And they're really excited to share more information about their organizations with all of you. But with no further ado, I think we've heard my voice too much already. I'm going to turn over the proverbial mic to Cameron, who's going to tell you all about Newfoundland and Labrador's immigration programs for skilled workers. Over to you, Cameron. And
thank you,
I'm
Felicity. Can you all hear me? Just note if you can. And can you see the screen? The full screen? Wonderful. Okay, thank you, Felicity. Welcome, everyone. As Felicity said, my name is Kamrul Islam. I'm the manager of labor attraction with our Office of Immigration Multiculturalism. We're with the Department of Immigration, Population Growth and Skills, Government of Newfoundland and Labrador. So just a brief history about myself. I'm originally from Bangladesh. I'm not from Newfoundland Labrador per se, but I've been here for 30 years. My initial plans were to be here for only 3 years. But I came here as an international student and I stayed. And before I could finish my studies, I was fortunate enough to obtain a job here. And the rest is history. I like it here. And that's one of the reasons why my family's here as well. And I'm here to tell you that you can make Newfoundland Labrador your home as well. It's one of the safest and the best places, in my opinion, to live and raise a family. The location, as Felicity mentioned, we're the most easterly point in North America, and we're strategically located between Europe and as a gateway to North America. You can even take weekend trips to the small island of St. Pierre-Miquelon, which is just off our coast. And we also have a very good balance between urban and rural lifestyle. Pre-COVID, we had direct flights from here to London Heathrow, and it was only 5 hours in duration, sorry. The capital city, this is where we're located, is called St. John's. The population is approximately 214,000. We're at the same latitude as Paris in France. Current population is about 522,000. We have 17,000 kilometers of coastline and a landmass of approximately 400,000 square kilometers. The average home prices are quite affordable in our city. They range from between 265 or close to 300,000 compared to almost 500,000 in Halifax or over $1 million in Ontario or Vancouver. St. John's has been rated as one of the 10 best cities in Canada to raise a family. I could attest to that myself. One of 6 most welcoming cities for newcomers, exactly. And we're also connected to the world. Our airport, international airport services 1.5 million passengers annually. Before pandemic, we had direct flights to destinations in Canada, US, and various parts of Europe. In terms of connectivity, 99% of our population have access to broadband services. We have 2 world-class and award-winning post-secondary institutions. Memorial University of Newfoundland Labrador is the largest university in Atlantic Canada. And we also have the College of the North Atlantic, which has 17 campuses throughout Newfoundland Labrador, and also the 18th campus in Doha in Qatar. We have services and supports for individuals and families, and we have our provincial health coverage covers an extensive range of healthcare services for our residents. We have English and French language instruction in the school system, and we've also introduced affordable childcare services for only $25 per day. Environment. Well, I know Abu Dhabi is very hot at the moment. Well, in fact, it's about 25 degrees outside in St. John's right now, which is quite pretty and pleasant and beautiful, I might add. And the natural beauty is something that's you really need to see it with your eyes in order to believe it. We have 5 UNESCO cultural natural wonders throughout the province, 18 wilderness and ecological reserves. We have breathtaking botanical gardens, 540 kilometers of coastal hiking trails on the Avalon Peninsula, which is on the east coast. We're on our way to achieving net zero emissions thanks to hydropower generation. We have access to clean, safe trails and lakes and oceans. And it is one of the best cities to work from home. This is the town of Loki Bay, Middle Cove, Outer Cove, which is just outside St. John's. And the PC magazine has rated this part of Newfoundland Labrador as one of the best cities to work from home for 2021. The people. As Felicity said, and again, this is one of the first things I heard when I first came here 30 years ago, that the people of Newfoundland Labrador are the friendliest in North America, and it is very, very true. We have plenty of space in our province, only 1.4 residents per square kilometers. We have one of the top 10 friendliest cultures in the world. Our workforce comprises of professionals from all skill levels, from high skills to the low skills. We have current in-demand occupations in healthcare, information technology, aquaculture, as well as agriculture. Some of the professions in healthcare include physicians, nurse practitioners, personal care attendants, licensed practical nurses. Some in information technology include software developers, electrical engineers, web developers. And in aquaculture, we have technicians, assistant managers, and cage site technicians as well. Immigration to Newfoundland Labrador has increased by about 60% since 2017. That's when we introduced our Immigration Action Plan. Our target is to triple immigration to welcome about 5,100 newcomers to our province by 2026. We have client service immigration programs. One is known as a provincial nominee program. The other is the Land Immigration Pilot Project. We've also introduced a new pathway called Priority Skills in Newfoundland Labrador, which I'll talk to you in a minute. This is a specialized pathway which does not require a job for you to become a permanent resident of Canada and reside in Newfoundland Labrador. The immigration pathways for the provincial nominee program, we have several categories. One is the express entry skilled worker. That is for those who are expressly in the express entry federal pool. The other is skilled worker. The other is international graduate. That is international students who have graduated from an institution in Canada. We have the international entrepreneur category for those who wish to invest and open a business in our province. We also have the international graduate entrepreneur category for international graduates who wish to become entrepreneurs. And finally, we have the priority skills NL. Next, we've got the Atlantic Immigration Pilot Program, and there are 3 categories. One is the Atlantic High Skilled, the other is the Atlantic Intermediate Skilled, and the next one is the Atlantic International Graduate Stream. For the Provincial Nominee Program, and there is a QR code that's there for your convenience, all applicants must have a full-time job offer or be an entrepreneur in our province. You must meet the eligibility requirements. You must have the intention to live in our province on a permanent basis. You must have enough savings to establish yourself and your family members in our province. And you must possess sufficient English and French language capacity to perform in your job duties. The Atlantic Immigration Pilot Program is an employer-based program where the employer first becomes designated by our province, and then the employer will be eligible to hire foreign nationals like yourselves to work in this province. Once the employer has chosen a foreign worker to work in our province, they supply us with an endorsement application. Once the endorsement application is approved, the worker can then travel to Canada, to Newfoundland Labrador, to start work. The processing time for the AIP is much faster than the PNP. The processing time is usually between 6 to 9 months to obtain your permanent residency. For the provincial nominee program, it can take up to 18 to 24 months. There is no labor market impact assessment required for this program. In other words, the local employer does not have to show that there is no qualified Canadians to do the job. Here's a small infographic just to show you how this immigration program works. First of all is the job offer or your business creation. And then once you submit your application or the employer submits the application, then either yourself receives the provincial nomination through the provincial nominee program, or you receive an endorsement through the Atlantic Immigration Pilot Program. The next step is for you to submit your permanent resident application at the nearest visa office. For those who are residents of the United Arab Emirates and some other Middle Eastern nations, your nearest visa office will be the Abu Dhabi office. The Priority Skills NL pathway, as I had mentioned, this is a specialized pathway for those who have required experience in a highly skilled and highly demanded occupation for at least 1 year in the past 10 years. At the bottom, we've given you the QR code as well as the website link for those in-demand occupations that are needed in our province. The work experience that you have gained for 1 year over the past 10 years can either be within Canada or outside of Canada. This is one pathway. The other pathway for Priority Skills NL is for those who are graduates of Memorial University and they have received their master's or their PhDs in specialized disciplines. More of this as you scan the QR code. This pathway is only through the expression of interest system. Right now, we are not taking any more expression of interest submissions. However, we will be opening this up to qualified individuals in the very near future, and I mean in the very near future. That concludes my presentation. You're always welcome to connect with us via the phone or by email address or by visiting our website. There will be chance for you to ask questions during the Q&A period towards the end of our discussion. And I'll now pass the reins over to my colleague, Colleen Butler of Eastern Health.
And while we're getting the share option there so we can put up our presentation, I'll just introduce myself. So my name is Danielle Hopkins, and I'm a senior human resources consultant with recruitment at Eastern Health.
And welcome everyone. Hi, my name is Colleen Butler, and I'm the regional manager of recruitment here at Eastern Health. We're delighted to be presenting to you today. This is a great opportunity, so thank you all so much for giving of your evening to come and hear our presentation.
Okay. All right, and I guess, can everybody see the presentation okay? Okay. All right, well, thank you guys so much for your interest in today's presentation. So first, I guess we'll just talk a little bit about who we are. Okay, so we are the largest health authority in Newfoundland and Labrador, one of 4 health authorities. We do service a population of over 300,000 people. We're located on the eastern side of the island portion of Newfoundland and Labrador province. We do provide health care services across a wide region. We are geographically diverse. We do provide a wide continuum of healthcare services as well. So that includes acute care, long-term care, we have community care, both urban and rural sites as well. We also are responsible for some unique provincial programs as well. And we do provide specialized medical care to the people from the French islands of St. Pierre and Miquelon. We do have approximately 13,000 employees in our employee and in many different fields, from physicians to nursing to finance, laboratory medicine. We have domestic workers. We have a wide range. Certainly we are a team of dedicated professionals committed to providing safe and quality care to our patients, residents, and their families. We do have a strong focus on client and family-centered care. And collaboration and teamwork really are the hub of everything that we do. We also regularly hire internationally educated employees, such as nurses and physicians. Here we just have kind of a little map just to outline the portion of the province that we would service. So this is the eastern side of the island portion. You can just see there's, you can see St. John's where our capital city is. And there are many other, communities that we service outside of that as well. So we do have a lot of rural communities that we service in addition to our urban centers. I did also just include a list here of some of the classifications that we're currently recruiting for, some of our job opportunities at Eastern Health. Many of our job opportunities do require licensure or registration with a registering body, either within Canada or within Newfoundland and Labrador. So I do want to highlight that that is a requirement. But as you can see, we have a very wide range of job opportunities at Eastern Health. So why choose Eastern Health? I wanted to share, some of the benefits that we provide to employees and things of that nature. So one thing is unique opportunities. We do have a lot of unique opportunities that we have available because we are very geographically diverse. Lots of opportunities to grow in your career. Like I mentioned, we have many rural and urban centers. And there's an opportunity to work with an interdisciplinary team in all of our areas and all of our sites. We do have provincial programs such as our cancer care program. So Eastern Health would provide cancer care services to the entire province, not just the Eastern Health region. And we do collaborate with educational institutions as well here in Newfoundland. So we have the Center for Nursing Studies, which is the largest nursing school in the province, and it is operated by Eastern Health. We also collaborate with other educational institutions in the province, such as Memorial University, and we also have the College of the North Atlantic as well. We do have some unique scheduling opportunities, such as a rotation professional development in some areas, such as medicine and long-term care. We also have a supportive healthcare foundation, which is a big contributor financially to our organization. In terms of innovation and growth, at Eastern Health, we are a living lab. So essentially, we are a user-centered space where public and private partnerships are actively forged to improve patient care. And this includes our partnerships with our patients, staff, suppliers, the academic community, and many others to improve the health and well-being of the people in our province. We are establishing a Health Innovation Acceleration Center as well. And this will focus on development and testing of technology-enabled solutions to improve our healthcare system. An example of one of our innovative solutions that we have here at Eastern Health is our remote patient monitoring program, which uses technology to treat patients in rural areas. We are continuously expanding our services. So we do have a brand new mental health facility that's going to be built within the next few years. We also have a brand new cancer care hospital. It's being built on the western side of our province, and it will be operated by Eastern Health, as well as health corrections. So we are currently integrating the care and health of our correction system into our larger healthcare system. And in terms of employee benefits, We do offer a comprehensive health benefits package as well as a pension. We also have a large commitment to a healthy workplace. So work-life balance is very important, diversity and inclusion, civility and respect, as well as physical and psychological health and safety. We also have some scholarship opportunities, as well as an education and salary advance program to support employees who are looking to take on some new education. We have an employee and family assistance program to provide support to our employees. And lots of professional development opportunities. We do have emerging leaders program and learning leaders program to help to prepare future leaders in our organization. And from a physician standpoint, we also have a relationship with Memorial University School of Medicine. So there's lots of teaching opportunities for our physicians. In terms of our commitment to excellence, our values at Eastern Health are accountability, caring, collaboration, excellence, and respect. We have a very large focus on quality and safety in all areas of our organization. We're always striving to continuously improve, and we utilize process improvement methodologies such as the lean philosophy, and provide access to our employees to do training and education on these methodologies as well. Okay, so our last slide here, how to apply. So certainly if you are interested in any of our employment opportunities, you can visit our website. We do have a QR code here right at the top. You can scan that will bring you right to our careers page. And you can get a list of all careers that are available right now and that, be able to apply. For physician-related inquiries specifically, if you're interested in a physician position, Wendy Snow is our physician recruiter, and I have listed her email here so that you can contact her directly if you are interested in being employed as a physician, as well as a general contact for any questions. And I did include a QR code at the bottom as well for our general Eastern Health website, in case anybody would like to visit our website to find out more on some of the information that we shared today. Anything from you, Colleen, before we end?
No.
Okay. Excellent. Thank you guys so much. And I believe Carla is the next presenter. Is that correct, Carla? If so, I will pass it over to you. Perfect. Okay.
Thank you. Now, as soon as I get hosting duties. Perfect. Thanks, Colleen.
No problem.
All right, everyone. I am going to share my screen. I hope that everyone can see this. So as Felicity mentioned, I'm Carla Hayward. I'm going to speak to you today from a much higher level than our other presenters. I represent TechNL, so I'm going to tell you a little bit about what TechNL is, and then I'm going to tell you a little bit about the technology and innovation sector in Newfoundland and Labrador. So that's me. My title is Tech Talent Strategy Manager. And so it's exactly like it sounds. We have decided as an organization that talent, particularly in the tech and innovation space, is especially important. So we formed a team specific to that. TechNL is a member-based organization. It's a not-for-profit, and we work with our members and stakeholders and government and pretty much everybody on this panel today, actually. And our mission is really to enable the growth of the technology and innovation economy in our province. I'm not going to walk you through all our strategic priorities, but what I wanted to show you here is that talent development point. So that is actually our number one strategic priority as an organization right now, to educate, attract, and retain more workers for the sector in our province. So if I had to sum up the technology and innovation sector in Newfoundland and Labrador right now, I would say two things. I would say that it is growing rapidly and that it is seeking talent. So this sector is growing, it's thriving, and it's accelerating. So everything is going well, but it's just getting faster, and the growth is happening faster all the time. And there's a real amazing momentum that you can feel when you're here. One of the major challenges that we're facing is actually finding the people to work in all these amazing companies that are starting. So the last time we surveyed, I believe it was 84% of the technology companies in the province said that they had experienced difficulty finding staff to support their continued growth. So what kind of skill sets are they looking for? I mean, the industry is very broad, everything, fintech, ocean tech, more consumer-based things. And we do have a long list of the very specific things that folks are looking for right now in terms of skill sets. But where we see the greatest need right now at this moment in time can kind of be grouped into 3 areas. So number 1, and this is the greatest demand, is software developers. So front end, back end, full stack, whether we're talking user interface or user experience, but also AI, machine learning, ops and DevOps. So pretty much everything in that development space is a hot commodity right now. In addition to that, we are looking for senior technical specialists. So people who have a very deep experience and knowledge of certain specific things. So security is an important one. We're looking for data scientists, people in machine learning, cloud automation, AI, all these sorts of real deep dive technical abilities. They're in demand as well. And customer service. So we need folks who can be, online, on the phone, in person, whatever those things are, to help with client loyalty, feature sales and use, making sure that people are getting the most out of these products or services once they've decided to purchase them, and simple help desk work as well. And that's critical to making sure that people are happy and continue to be customers of the companies in our sector. So one of the things that I wanted to mention today that I think is really important to this audience in particular is that Newfoundland and Labrador is a big place geographically, but as Cameron said, we're not very densely populated. And so our market locally is quite small. That means all our local companies really have to be looking at the global stage if they want to reach their full potential. So when we talk about staffing and talent, and we're thinking about international folks like yourselves, the international connections and knowledge that you can bring can give just as much value as your technical skill sets. So that's a really important thing that companies here locally are recognizing. And the last one here is diverse perspectives. I think perhaps no other sector has realized how important diverse perspectives are specifically to future success, because we know that when you get people from different backgrounds and, coming from all angles of things colliding, that's when you can spark just some amazing innovations and ideas. So, having newcomers to our province be part of our sector is something that we're actively interested in for a whole bunch of reasons. So what I decided to do for this presentation was look at some current openings, because I wanted to be able to show you, even though this sector is huge, what are some of the things that people are looking for right now. I looked at 12 companies. There are about 170, maybe 175 that we recognize as technology companies in the province. So of just 12, here were some interesting ones that came up. So Breathe Sweet is an organization that developed a product for use for patients with respiratory illnesses. And right now they're looking for a senior mobile software engineer. Celtics is a media pre-production software, and they're looking for a data engineer. Hike is a consumer engagement tool. Sorry, slipped for a moment there. They're actually looking for 2 software developers. Rally is a piece of legal tech. It helps automate some legal documentation. They're looking for a full stack engineer. Milk Movement is a supply chain management tool specific to the dairy industry. They're looking for DevOps, engineer, and a React Native developer. Just hold on one second. My little screen is over my text. Verafin is a fintech company. They prevent fraud. They're looking for 2 cloud automation developers and a database administrator. Clear Risk, they're looking for a head of customer service. They're a risk management company. Avalon Holographics, they do holographic display. They're looking for some very specific specialists, optical systems engineer, optical specialist, and an FPGA designer. MISA, they do smart thermostats. They're looking for a bilingual customer experience expert, a senior developer. Metrics Flow is data analytics, but done in a privacy-first context, so no cookies, basically. They're looking for a Salesforce developer. Genoa is an engineering firm in the marine industry specifically, so they build ships and other marine structures. They were looking for 2 really interesting ones that I had to list here, which are a Chief Capabilities Officer and a Learning and Development Manager. So 2 really interesting, kind of newer titles that I hadn't heard as much before. And finally, just on this list, Colab Software. This is a review tool for engineering projects, particularly quite complex ones. So they're looking for a cloud architect as well as front-end, back-end, and full-stack developers. So that is just the 12 that I looked at. And in fact, it's not all the jobs that these 12 are hiring for. Oh, there we go. Sorry, guys, something has happened. And oh, there we go. Apologies. So of the 12 that I looked at, there were actually 55 job openings in just these 12 companies. And that was just yesterday. Like I went and updated this yesterday, and those were the openings that were there. That is a fairly common level right now that you would go out and be able to find that many positions available. So I guess the point of all of this, of me sharing all these very specific jobs and companies, is to show you the depth and breadth of opportunities that are here, specifically in the technology and innovation sector. And I hope that you enjoyed this presentation and everyone else's today. And I hope that it leaves you with the conclusion that you want to come to Newfoundland and Labrador. Thanks, everybody. I'm going to put you over to Leslie now.
Thank you.
Oops, there we go. You should be good.
Yeah, it's okay. Perfect. Hopefully this works. All right, so can everyone see my screen there?
We can.
Okay, perfect. I just need to move this out of the way. So hi, everyone. My name is Leslie Kavanagh. I'm the Manager of Human Resources with Tiffany Village Retirement Residence. So I have a short presentation here today, just a little bit about us and what we've done around international recruitment over the last couple of years. And then a quick video just to show you, get a bit of a sense of what it's like to work here at Tiffany Village. So in terms of who we are a partnership, actually, been in operation since 2009, locally owned and operated here in the province, is privately owned and operated, I should say. We consist of 2 properties. So we have Tiffany Village Retirement Residence and Kenny's Palm Retirement Residence. Both of these residents offer seniors living and care. So we have really kind of a wide range of residents who live here. Some people who live here, they work, they drive, they just live in this building. So are very independent people, but choose to live in our facilities, which is wonderful. And then we also have residents who require up to full care. So the business was really developed with the model of allowing people to age in place. So, you know, in terms of the assisted living side of things, Tiffany Village has 3.5 what we call assisted living floors. So that's where the majority of our residents who require care live. Kenny's Pond has 2 assisted living floors, and obviously that's where the majority of our employees work, on those floors. So in terms of our staff itself, we have about 200 staff between the 2 facilities. These are just a listing of our departments. So we have food and beverage department, concierge, housekeeping departments, as you would expect. Maintenance, recreation department. We have a very robust recreation program, which is available to all of our residents, both independent and assisted living. But the biggest department across both facilities is our nursing department. And that's where the majority of our international recruitment has been in that department in particular. So in nursing, we have sort of 4 classifications of roles there: companion care attendants, resident care attendants, licensed practical nurses, and registered nurses. So why would you want to come work at Tiffany Village? Well, I can tell you myself, it's a lovely place to work. But in terms of coming to work here, we do offer a competitive wage package. We offer cost-shared group insurance plans, which include health insurance, dental, life, and accidental death insurance. And that is cost-shared 50-50 with the employer. We have an employer-matched registered retirement savings plan, and we have an inclusive, flexible work environment. So for the most part, when people come on board, you're given a schedule, and it's sort of a fixed schedule you can rely on in advance, so to help with work-life balance. And we also have access to a paid leave program, and again, you can get your leave kind of any time in the year. I remember very few, if any, occasions where we haven't been able to grant people leave when they've requested. So in terms of our international recruitment, it certainly has been a focus of ours for the last couple of years. And we have partnered with Cam Rule and his team there at the Office of Immigration and Multiculturalism, and been on a couple of job fair trips with them. A lot of our focus up to this point has been hiring caregivers, so resident care attendants. And of course, a lot of those people we do hire tend to be people that are internationally educated nurses. So we have still actually a fair number of people we have job offers out to, but because of the global pandemic, obviously there's been some delays in the immigration process. So right now, while we always will have somewhat of a focus in hiring people as resident care attendants, we want to shift that slightly right now and really focus on trying to hire internationally educated nurses who are able to come to the province and work either as registered nurses or licensed practical nurses. So that is kind of our greater need at this time. So any of you out there who are internationally trained as nurses and have gone through any processes about getting a license here in Canada, we'd be very interested to hear from you. Because that is a real need of ours in those 2 registered professions. Obviously, we will always recruit resident care attendants, and we will always recruit internationally educated nurses who are looking to move the province and want to do it while they're here, so to get their registration. But right now, our higher need is hiring people who can come and work as registered nurses and licensed practical nurses. So my next slide and this is not an area where I'm an expert in any stretch of the imagination, but I have done a bit of research. If someone out there is an internationally trained nurse and are looking to come work as a registered nurse or licensed practical nurse here in Canada, I understand your first step is to go to the National Nursing Assessment Service, and you start the process there. I've also included 2 links here. They would be our 2 licensing bodies for registered nurses and licensed practical nurses in the province here. So I'm sure if you were to look at their websites and check them out, you could get some useful information there. But I will tell you, both of those websites will refer you first to the National Nursing Assessment Service about the process for getting licensed here in Canada and here in Newfoundland and Labrador. So I just wanted to end my slideshow with a quick video, which just shows you a little bit about what it's like working here at Tiffany Village. And I will say before we start, this video was shot prior to COVID-19, so people are not wearing masks. So we all look a little different here right now, but it does give you an idea of what it's like to work here at Tiffany Village. Okay, so that's it for me. So thank you so much for that. And I will tell you, everyone in that video is actually an employee or a resident here at Tiffany. So that just gives you a bit of an idea of who we are. And now I think I pass it to Nicole. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay.
Perfect. Well, while I'm waiting to get switched over there, I just want to say thank you very much to Felicity and Cameron for this opportunity. I'm super excited to be a part of this. I'll just go ahead and share my screen there. Can you guys see the PowerPoint presentation there?
I think it might still be loading.
Okay.
It looks.
I'll try it again.
There we go.
You can see it?
Yeah.
Perfect. Okay. So it worked out quite well that I am in the lineup that I am, because fortunately for us, some of our partnerships are on the line as well. So we're partnered with Eastern Health and as well Tech NL. So they did a great job of explaining their organizations. But I am Nicole Bishop and I'm the operations lead with Polyunity Tech Inc. We are a young startup company within the technology sector here in Newfoundland, and our vision is to empower passionate healthcare providers to reimagine better outcomes. And we were actually founded by 3 young medical students who are now doctors. So Dr. Michael Bartelis is the CEO of the company, Dr. Travis Pickett is the COO of the company, and Dr. Stephen Ryan is the CCO of the company. Just to give you a little bit more insight into, there we go. Our mission as our company, we like to partner with healthcare organizations and utilize agile manufacturing to provide efficient, less expensive solutions that reduce frustrations. So to break that down a little bit further, what we do is we work with healthcare providers within healthcare organizations to solve problems. So we provide solutions to problems. So you can come to us with a napkin idea and we try to understand your need and create custom solutions. And the cool part about us is that we use agile manufacturing, specifically 3D printing, to create a prototype. So what we'll do is we'll bring that idea to life and we'll iterate it to achieve a final product. And then when we're ready and we've agreed upon what we want our product to look like, we validate the products and then we add them to our digital catalog. So just to give you a real world example of problem, prototype, and product, during the global pandemic, when Eastern Health was receiving their vaccine vials, they were coming in these Credo cubes, and they were just coming in boxes of vaccine vials. And there was no way to distribute or divide the vaccine vials easily. So they came to us and said, we need to bring these so that the nurses can administrate them at different sites or different locations. And what we did was we developed the vaccine tray so that you could take the vials out, put them in the trays, and then the trays could be distributed across multiple locations. So we went from a problem to a prototype, and then we developed the product. And we actually produced all of the vaccine trays on our 3D printers at our company. But sometimes what will happen is for mass manufacturing, we'll outsource it to some of our partners that we have. So just to break down a little bit further, we like to help healthcare providers design and build what they need on demand. And by healthcare providers, we mean doctors, nurses, physiotherapists, occupational therapists, lab technicians. So anyone within a healthcare organization can come to us with a problem. And the way that it would work is if this problem doesn't have a solution yet, we can help you innovate it. So if that solution isn't out there, they don't exist, we can help you innovate. Or, for example, the next item there in the middle is a battery cover. So what happens quite frequently is with the battery covers is that they will break. So we've been asked to iterate the battery covers so that they're less flexible to break and that they're a little bit more sturdy. So it exists but needs work. And then what we do is we immortalize. So what if you have a machine that no longer has the parts available? Well, we can reverse engineer that part, and then we can provide it to our online product catalog. And then you can always have access to that digital file of that product. So what will happen, the process typically looks like you can come to us, reach out to us, and we'll do a consultation. So we'll sit down, you can bring your napkin idea or you can bring the product, and we'll consult with you. So we have people on our team that will help you develop or innovate an idea or a solution to that problem. Then we have a team of product designers specifically. So they'll sit down in the team and they'll develop prototypes, and we'll work back and forth with our client to develop the prototype. And then once a final product is determined, we will 3D print the product, or again, if it requires mass manufacturing, we have partnerships with local companies like DF Burns who will take over the manufacturing on mass level scales. So just a little bit of an overview on our products that we are currently developing. So we have a digital catalog, and this is currently under development. And what happens is the products that we develop through our problem prototype and product development, we will store on this digital catalog. And then this will be accessed by our clients, our partnerships, and they can go on and choose a product that they would like to download at any point in time. And then either it will be 3D printed in-house at their organization, or we can 3D print it at our location, at our hub in St. John's, Newfoundland, and then we can mail it out to your location within 48 hours. So just another example is the vaccine tray is there. Some other examples of products that we've currently developed is there's a balloon applicator, which is used within the healthcare system. We have the air savers for those who were wearing masks. We have another clip that was developed. And then we have some vial grippers, which we call, because sometimes the vaccine vials that were coming were very cold temperatures. You couldn't pick them up with your hands, or the gloves were a little clumpy. So now we have vial grippers that are able to pick up the vial, and then we can distribute it that way. And again, some of our partnerships that we are currently working in is Eastern Health. So we're very, very fortunate to be partnered with Eastern Health in their Healthcare Innovation Acceleration Center. This is currently where we are based in St. John's, Newfoundland, but we are also very fortunate to have a partnership with the Children's Hospital of Eastern Ontario. So we have two of our medical doctors, our CEO and our COO, who are based in Ottawa, Ontario, and they have a hub running up in Ottawa, Ontario at the Children's Hospital up there. And then we were asked to highlight, coming on to this webinar, to highlight our team and maybe some of the skills and qualifications that we would be looking for. So currently our team is quite small. We are a young startup company. We have 4 software developers. We have 2 computer engineers, a mechanical engineer, and actually it's kind of cool. We have an electrical technologist who went back and became a full stack developer. So he retrained to become a full stack developer and is quite an asset to our team. Then we have our product design team. So currently we only have 3 product designers. We have 2 mechanical engineers and 1 electrical engineer. And then we have our business team. So we have our CEO, our COO, and our CCO. We have 2 great business advisors, and then there's me in the operations role. So with that being said, in the next few months, we are definitely looking to grow our team. So just some of the skill sets that we would be looking for on our software team would be JavaScript fundamentals, familiarity with React, CSS, Node.js, Express, knowledge of some of the SQL databases, Python, cloud development, deployment and development experience, and build tools like Webpack. If you're more interested in the product design, we are looking for those who have experience with 3D printing, experience with Fusion 360, experience with quality management systems, a developed understanding of common manufacturing procedures, and general good documentation and written communication skills. And then finally, our business team is one that we're definitely looking to develop and grow a little bit more. Just like Carla had mentioned, customer success is very important, and we are looking to hire customer success, those who may be interested in accounting, HR, marketing. So just completion of post-secondary degree diploma with focus in business areas. So that could be HR, marketing. 1 to 3 years experience in a business role be preferred or considered an asset. And again, it could be human resources, or if you're looking more towards accounting, CPA would be considered an asset as well. And that's just a very quick overview of our company within the tech sector. And thank you very much for your time. If you are interested in contacting our company, we're not quite established yet, so you have to email me at nicole@polyunity.com. Our phone number is listed here as well. And I'm open to any questions or inquiries that you may have, so feel free to reach out at any time. Perfect. I think that is it for me. Am I passing it over to Richard next?
Yes, please.
Perfect, I can do that.
Felicity, I think you're going to be driving this presentation, correct?
Sorry, I was muted. Yeah, just give me one moment. I'm just sharing my screen.
Super.
Share, come on.
While we're waiting for that, I will just say a hearty hello to all of my friends in the Middle East. Hope that you are all doing well and trying to stay as cool as possible in these hot summer months.
Can everyone see
Great.
that? Yes? Okay.
Super, thank you. So, hello everyone, my name is Dr. Richard Leach. I'm the Chief Strategy Officer from Sequence Bio. If you could scroll down a little bit, please, that would be awesome. Right, there I am. So just a quick minute to introduce myself. I'm trained as a scientist. My background is in molecular biology and human genetics, and I've been working at some of the top biotech companies around the world throughout the last couple decades of my career. I have been leading large-scale, nation-scale population research projects, some in the Middle East, including your neighbor Qatar, as well as the UK, the United States, China, various other countries around the world. And most recently, I was the Chief Strategy Officer for the International Space Station. But about a year ago, I joined Sequence Bio, and I go through my background here simply to impress upon all of you that I was attracted to work in the good province of Newfoundland and Labrador. And I've had an excellent experience there. I've enjoyed all of the people I've worked with. I think there is tremendous promise that is available in the province. I encourage you all to investigate it. For the moment, I will just stick to my own company and tell you what we do, and hopefully it will be of interest to you. Next slide, please. Sequence Bio actually uses a very interesting effect of human population to make discoveries for drug development. The population of Newfoundland was actually settled by people from Europe. And we use the population and the participation of the people to do discovery biology research projects with our clientele around the world, who is large biotech and pharma. We use what's called the founder effect and the participation of the people. In other words, we use the simplicity and homogeneity of the population to help enhance our discovery efforts. Next slide, please. All around the world, regardless of what country you live in, the process of drug development has a very similar flow. And what you see on this slide here are the basic blocks of development for drug discovery. It begins with discovery. In other words, to identify the parts of the biological system that are to be targeted by drugs, therapeutics, to be developed and sold by pharma companies. So that's the first part, discovery of the target, discovery and validation. After this, there are a number of preclinical stages to drug development that occur. Functional biology and other preclinical research look to identify model systems for which you can test new drugs. And then typically it goes through clinical trials. When new compounds are developed, they go through clinical trials of phase 1, 2, 3, and then they are approved in phase 4 for sale around the world. So all the drugs that you take in the UAE, as well as are taken by people around the world, go through this basic process. Now, it is a fact that most drug compounds going through this process fail. In fact, at least 90% of the drug compounds that go through this process fail. And in the best case scenario, when a compound makes it all the way through each of these steps to be marketed to the world, is very expensive. It costs about $2.5 billion US to discover a target and develop a drug against that target and take it to market. And it takes 15 years. Our company, Sequence Bio, we focus on the very first step, discovery. So it is the development of research cohorts with human subjects in the province of Newfoundland that we do. And our clients are globally facing. Now, even though our company works exclusively inside the perimeter of the province, the companies we work with are the top 100 pharma companies that you can think of. GSK, Pfizer, Takeda, these type of companies are our clientele who we work with. Next slide, please. One of the things we know from experience in development is that drugs that have some sort of genetic evidence behind them are more likely to be approved for use by people around the world. In the province of Newfoundland and Labrador, the founder effect, the people from the founding population, they actually make it much easier to make discovery based on genetics. So when we work with our clients, pharma around the world, we study the genetics of the people of Newfoundland and Labrador. That helps us identify what parts of biological systems might be involved in disease processes. We then sell those interesting discoveries to pharma for development into drugs. Next slide, please. how good is it? How much better is it to work in the province of Newfoundland and Labrador to make discoveries for pharma? Well, it's much, much better. It's at least 20 times more effective and efficient. Because of the population structure of the province, the homogeneity of the people, the similarity between the people, it reduces the complexity of the experimental system. And so it's 20 times more effective, at least, to do research for drug discovery in the province of Newfoundland and Labrador. The province itself has several unique factors which help us do our work. First, the people of the province have an outstanding participation ethos. They are more than willing to work with us and join our studies so that we can be in partnership with them. Second, the medical records to the province are available to us for our consented participants in our studies. And third, the number of people in the province is reasonable, 520,000, which is good for the discovery work that we do. There are a number of ongoing clinical trials in the province as well. There's an outstanding educational system through Memorial University and great partnership with the healthcare system that all helps us in our process to discover drugs. Next slide, please. Next slide, please. Sequence Bio is an excellent place to work. Sorry, if you could just go one back. There we go. The company itself is growing quite rapidly. We have had almost 70% increase in the size of our team over the past year. Right now, I think we have 47 or 48 employees, and that number is growing rapidly. So we intend to scale up and to maintain a very diverse workforce. We're an equal opportunity employer. And we're interested in you. We have a good salary system and benefits system in the company. It's an excellent place to work where people can grow and develop. Next slide, please. The kinds of people we're looking for to join our company range from people who are good managers to people who are technologists. We are looking for people at the PhD level, the master's degree level, and the bachelor's degree level who are data scientists and research sciences. We have huge data sets that need to be explored for discovery, and we have great need to understand the fundamentals of human disease biology and people to help us with experimental design and putting programs together. We knit these things together with cohort operations. These are individuals who work between our company and the good people of the province to help build discovery cohorts, and we need managers to help us in our operations. Also, behind it all is software applications development to help us with discovery, to manage the data sets, and to help us manage the company. But there's much more. We have all the operational roles that any growing company would have. In short, the opportunity to work with Sequence Bio is outstanding, and anybody from any country around the world would find this a good opportunity. Next slide. So please reach out to us at Sequence Bio if this is of interest to you. Again, we are looking for a number of different roles, and that summarizes that. Thank you.
Okay, so thank you so much. If you could, I am the presenter. So I'm going to pass the presenter over to Cameron, and then I'm going to give everybody a short presentation on just sort of the federal aspect of provincial nominee programs and some of the stuff that Cameron talked about, because immigration in Canada is a shared responsibility, which means that it is shared between the provinces and the federal government. So Cameron's provinces, I'm representing the federal government. So I'm going to just talk a little bit about what our role is in all of this and why I'm even here today.
Thanks, Felicity. I think you're going to be doing the presentation next, and then we're going to be going straight to Q&A session.
Yes, but could you do it? My slides are in your PowerPoint.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm going to be Vanna now.
Okay, thank you.
So do I share the screen or?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, please.
Okay. Gotcha. Here we go.
Great. Okay, so you have a provincial nomination and what comes next? So if you don't apply for PR through the express entry stream, which means so if you'd say, I'll back up, if you did apply through the express entry stream, that would mean that you did an express entry profile and you had a nomination uploaded as part of that application. So it was like already in there and then you're in the pool. If you did not apply that way, and then you get the provincial nomination first, what you do is there is this QR code here and there's your application kit. Okay, so you'll apply through this method if you have the provincial nomination before you have the express entry profile. Okay, the package includes an instruction guide and all the forms you need to fill out after the province or territory has nominated you. And the guide also includes sort of information on how to fill out the forms. Big tip, always a big tip, always the biggest tip, be truthful. Okay, if you aren't truthful in your application, and I think this goes also for the provincial nomination side and sort of the programs that Carol talked about, if you aren't truthful, we can refuse your application, but we can also find you inadmissible and bar you for up to 5 years from applying for permanent residence. So honesty is the best policy, and it is, it's your best chance at a positive result. Next slide, please. Okay, so once you've submitted everything, I think people often wonder, like, what happens? Okay, I've submitted it, whew, huge relief. Now what's happening? So what's happening behind the scenes with like people like myself and my colleagues? First thing that we're going to do is a completion check. So we're going to make sure that when you've submitted your application, that you've got all the required application forms, all the fees have been paid, and everything on that document checklist has been provided. If there is something on that checklist that's noted as required and you haven't provided it, it's going to be returned to you. We don't accept and then ask you for documents back. We just have too high volumes to offer that kind of service. So if you don't have everything required, it's going to be sent back. You got to try again. You're also going to get an acknowledgement of receipt. So if it is complete and we say yes, okay, I'll try and make it a little bit bigger. I see in the comments. How's that, everyone? If the application is complete, you're going to be placed in the processing queue. You'll be sent a letter or email that notifies you that we have accepted your application, and you'll be given a file number and they'll have some basic instructions. And then we're going to review your decision. So a review for decision. So basically somebody like myself is going to look over it, and I think this is as big as I can get it, guys. I'm going to try and make it a little bit bigger. I'm seeing the comments. We're going to consider all the information and documentation you've provided, and then we're going to assess it against our current selection standards. Next slide, please. Just a note to participants, you can always change your layout view. I think a few people were having issues with seeing everything, and that was part of it. Okay, so helpful tips. What can you do to help processing? And I think that is always such a helpful piece for people, because it helps you feel like you're regaining control in something that you've sent off to the ether and you don't know what's going to happen. So really important, of course, and I touched upon this earlier, send in all your documents and information that we've asked for with the application. Pay your application and biometric fees if they're required. And yeah, I'm pressing the magnifier button. I really think that people just have to look at their layout. So have a look, see, I think that will make a difference. Also, your contact information, make sure it's up to date. This seems like really obvious, and yet so many times people say, oh, I changed my email address, or oh, I got locked out of this email and I didn't get the notice. So make sure that you have up-to-date contact information, and if this does change, please let us know. Other things that delay processing, unclear photocopies of documents. If you think it'll be good enough, it's probably not good enough. So please make sure they're very clear. There are a lot of really great free programs out there, such as Cam Scanner, for example, where you can scan and it makes it all pretty and really, really nice, and then upload, okay? Because if it's illegible, then how do I assess it, right? We're going to verify, other things is verifying your information in your documents. So if we do have to do verifications, that will delay things. That's somewhat beyond your control, but just be aware that that is a step. I'm really sorry, people. I have it on full screen view. I'm really not sure why people are seeing this or not seeing this well, but maybe you can try magnifying on your end. If there's a criminal security problem, obviously that is going to delay things. And if consultation is needed with other offices in Canada and abroad. So these are things that delay. If you need help, you can find answers to your questions by visiting the Help Center. And I've got a very helpful QR code there for the IRCC Help Center. Again, another tech tip for people. I think I read in the chat that they were having trouble accessing the QR codes. So you go to your camera and you hold it quite close to the screen, and then it should come up. I tested it and it did work. So please, people, try that. Next slide, please. And thank you very much for the helpful people in the chat that are walking people through the magnifying process. So connecting with IRCC. So for applicants residing in the UAE, Oman, or Bahrain, you can scan the following QR code that says connect with us. So that is social media information that is being published by the Canada and the UAE social media accounts. And we are posting on behalf of the UAE, and we also reach out to Oman and Bahrain because we don't have Canadian embassies in those countries. If, however, you're in Qatar, they have Facebook accounts in English and in French, and they also have Twitter accounts in English and French. So you can reach out to them that way, and please follow. And there's also Kuwait has a Twitter account. So please follow. I post information there on behalf of IRCC all the time, helpful tips, information about webinars such as this one. So they're all really great accounts to follow. Finally, sorry, there was a question about KSA. KSA has their own social media. They used to have their own social media accounts. I'm not sure, but social media is not limited to where you live. So if you'd like to follow us here in the UAE, I encourage you to do so. We're always looking for additional followers, and the tips remain the same, right? If you're in KSA right now, you're attending the presentation I'm hosting out of Abu Dhabi. The world's a small place when we're virtual. So feel free to follow any of those accounts. And if you're not sure if you're eligible to enter Canada, this is a really, really great tool. We're getting a lot of questions in our email box right now about people wanting to come to Canada for exploratory visits, or if they want to come as a tourist. Really great way to know whether or not you can come if you meet the travel exemptions is to use this travel wizard. It'll be a whole lot quicker than waiting for an email from us that will direct you to the same tool. So please check yourself. The information is out there and it's ever changing. So if you're not sure, try the travel wizard. I have a QR code on the screen in English et en français. So feel free to use either. And so next slide, or that might be the last slide. This sort of concludes our presentation today. And now I'd like to open up the floor to questions, and we can have a question and answer session And if panelists would like to participate, I can help moderate. While you were all talking, I took note of some of what I thought were like really helpful or common questions. So I suggest that we start there. Let me go and find, I'm gonna just give me 1 second. So one of the questions, Cameron, was, do we know when the priority skills program is going to reopen? I know that's like the $1 million question.
Yes, Felicity. We've received a lot of inquiries. This the second round of the expression of interest will be opening very shortly, and I mean very shortly. The first time when it opened on January the 2nd, within a month, we received 12,000 expressions of interest, all from qualified candidates in the healthcare and the IT sectors in particular. So, and there are some other sectors as well. We are still reviewing those, and some invitations have gone out. But with that being said, we are committed to launching the second expression of interest in the very near future. I encourage everyone to check our website regularly, because that is being updated regularly as well. So again, very near future. I can't give an exact date, but when I say very near, I mean very near.
Okay, so that's really, really exciting, everybody. So make sure that you are following the news on that, and make sure that you know right away when it does open, because it sounds like there's a really big demand. So another question was, when will invitations to apply be sent out to candidates who submitted expression of interest under priority skills in January 2021? So I guess part of that giant cohort you were talking about.
Right. Some invitations have been sent out. So as we start to review the applications, the submissions, and if we deem them eligible, then we'll be sending out the invitations to apply. So a batch has already been sent out. Another batch will be sent out again, depending on whether they meet our requirements or not. We did receive close to 12,000, but that's not to say every single person qualifies or meets our requirements.
Definitely, that makes sense. Just to clarify, somebody asked the question, is this just for people in the Middle East? No, we were targeting people in the Middle East, but Cameron, go ahead and speak to what your recruitment efforts are.
Our recruitment efforts are global. We're not confined to a specific geographic region. I guess most of you don't know, but we were going to be traveling in person to Dubai and Abu Dhabi last year in February of 2020, and then something called COVID got in the way, and we had to delay our plans. So we're hoping that once we all get fully vaccinated and the COVID is under normal control, then we'll be in a position to visit various parts of the world, including the Middle East, hopefully in the near future.
Okay. I have a question I think that I can partly answer, and then I'll turn it over to you, Cameron, if you have anything to weigh in on this. Sure. We have someone that says, I already have my file in an express entry pool. Is there anything more or extra I have to do for a Newfoundland PNP application? And I'd like to this is my little PSA about selecting provinces in your express entry profile. When you are nominated by a province, that's a really big deal. And I want to frame it as an ethical, it's an ethical decision to stick with one province and to go and to try and settle there. I also like to see it as sort of like a relationship. And are you ready to go steady with that province? Are you ready to be exclusive? Are you ready to make that commitment? If you are, then you probably shouldn't be playing the field. So if you do select a province, please be sure that that is the province that you want to go to and that you've really committed to, because I'll let you know that when express entry profiles expire, if you have a number of them and you do a number of different provinces, we can see that. So if you aren't sure, don't commit and just say any. But if you are sure, make sure that that's a commitment that you are sticking to. Okay, PSA done.
No, thank you, Felicity. And just to add to that, whenever we're presenting on the provincial nominee program or the Atlantic Immigration Pilot Program, our intention is to sponsor someone for permanent residency to reside in our province on a permanent basis. So our intention is not to sponsor you. You become a permanent resident of Canada, you reside in Newfoundland and Labrador, but the moment you get your permanent residence, you leave for another province. So when we look at economic establishment, we also look at the various factors that might shape your understanding of our province and your decision to reside in our province. The immigration officers are very thorough in their approach, and we will question your intent to reside if we feel that you probably have the desire to reside in another province, but you're just using our program to become a permanent resident. So thank you, Felicity. We do emphasize on that as well. And with regards to express entry, if you do have a job or a job offer from our province, then you automatically, and you are nominated by our province, then you get 600 points. So 600 plus whatever you already have in the federal pool will automatically grant you an invitation to apply in the next round. That has happened in various cases. You've already had a taste of some of the jobs that are available at the moment through the various companies. At the same time, we're also promoting the priority skills NL pathway, which does not require a job. All you need is at least 1 year experience in the last 10 years in a highly demand occupation in our province, and that's on our website as well. Felicity, I can't hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Sorry about that. That's like, WebEx 101. Sorry, guys. So we have someone saying they're an international students completing their master's from Memorial University.
Right.
And they want to know if they have to apply when they're applying under the AIPP program, their NOC is important. And they also want to know how many months of full-time job can I apply under this stream?
Okay. If you look on our website for the international graduate stream, the requirements are very clear. There is no minimum, there's no job experience or required for you to obtain a job as an international graduate. Also, you don't have to get a job in the very high skilled in order to qualify. So you only need to obtain a job from a local employer who's designated in order to be endorsed. But the job could be at any NOC level, O, A, B, and sometimes C.
Okay. And let's see what's next. Let's say if one does get selected to join a company in Newfoundland, how much time does the individual have from the time of being hired to the first day of working at that company?
Well, that depends on a lot of factors. For example, if you're already in Newfoundland or in Canada, for example, if you're an international student and you have a postgrad work permit, you can start work immediately. If you're already a graduate of Memorial University or College of the North Atlantic and you already have a valid study permit and have applied for a postgrad work permit, then you're on implied status, you can start work immediately. If you're outside of Canada, or if you're in need of a work permit in order to start working under the provincial nominee program or the Atlantic Immigration Pilot Program, well, that's where we come in to assist you by nominating you or endorsing you and helping you obtain your work permit. How long it takes for you to get your work permit, that will depend on which embassy or which office of the Canadian government you apply to. For example, if you're in UAE, you have to apply to the Abu Dhabi office. How long it takes, you can look on the website to find out what the timelines and the processing are. It's difficult to answer the question definitively because there are some circumstances which will delay the application. For example, if you are employed in a healthcare profession or in a profession where you're going to be employed or dealing with children or seniors and it's health related in a way, then you will need a medical clearance before you can apply or before you're approved for a work permit. In some cases, medical clearances will not be required. So those can delay your application. In some cases, or in all cases, you'll also need a security clearance if you're outside of Canada in order to enter Canada. That may delay your application as well.
Okay, great. Just a note about one great thing about applicants applying from the Gulf. All of our VACs are open, so you can give biometrics now, no problem, either through the appointment system or walk-ins. And also all of our IELTS testing facilities and TEF testing facilities are open and have been for almost a year now. So I think September 2020. So in some markets, I know that those institutions aren't always open or aren't consistently open. So that can delay applications if you don't have those requirements. But here in the Gulf, they are open and accessible. So we have a question that is, am I eligible for a provincial nomination if I don't have a job offer?
Currently, under the job stream, you're not eligible for provincial nomination if you don't have a job offer. However, if you do submit your expression of interest under the Priority Skills NL, you may be eligible for nomination because that does not require a job offer.
Let's see what else we have here. Sorry, I'm just looking. A lot of the questions are very individual specific. So I'm trying to look for ones that are a little bit more general. So I have one. Oh, go ahead.
Sorry, I was also going to suggest to everyone that it won't be possible for us to answer every single question tonight, but we do have a general email address, which you can always email us. Just refer to the fact that you attended tonight's session, and the email address is immigration@gov.nl.ca. I will just type it here, and feel free to submit your question to us, and we'll be more than happy to respond in a specific manner.
Okay, so another one we have is, will there be any other priority streams aside for IT and health that are coming up soon?
Yes, we do have some other streams that are also on our website. They're the aquaculture and the agriculture streams, but these lists are always up for, they will be updated on a regular basis depending on our labor market needs. Right now in the labor market, these are the ones that are in demand. However, labor market demands always change, and we will be able to post some new ones in the future as well.
Okay. What processing timeline should we expect for the PSNL? I'm not sure what that is. I guess priority skills.
Yes.
I received an ITA for the priority skills and submitted a completed application before June 28th. When should I expect feedback?
Okay, June 20th, that means it's been about 2 weeks. But once that's reviewed, you will receive a feedback. And from the time you submit your application for permanent residency, we generally assume that it will be similar to the regular express entry candidates. So right now that's between 6 to 9 months. And we're assuming that that's going to be the same case for PSNL candidates as well. Again, a couple of things that will delay matters that's in no one's hands, and Felicity's office can't help you either. Number one is your health clearance. If there is an issue with your health and that's picked up on the tests, then you'll have to address that. Number two, the security clearance. If you have some prior issues with law enforcement agencies in any of the countries that you've resided in since the age of 18 for at least 6 months, then those will have to be resolved before your application can receive further processing.
And here's a really great question because I know the answer and it's a really good one. Are there organizations that help newcomers integrate and contribute to the community in Newfoundland?
Yes. The first and foremost, we have the Association for New Canadians, and I will give you the website here. This is The Association for New Canadians is funded not only by the provincial government, but also the federal government to help settle newcomers to our province. By newcomers, we not only mean those who are permanent residents, but those who are also temporary residents. For example, international students and their spouses, also refugees who come to Canada and settle in Newfoundland and Labrador. Yes, there are resources to assist individuals, and our provincial government is also committed to help newcomers settle in our province with further funding for settlement and integration purposes.
We have a question that I'm going to choose to interpret the way I want to, because I think it would be helpful information to share. Someone asked, is there a program about French skills? And I'm going to take that to mean, are there special programs related to people that have French skills, so are bilingual or francophone applicants?
Yes, we have an understanding with an agreement with the federal government when it comes to the Francophone Mobility Program. So that enables us to recruit individuals who are bilingual, for example, in English and French, and who have a job offer in our province. So again, they can bypass the labor market requirement, and we can help them obtain permanent residency using the Francophone Mobility Program.
So then we also, somebody wrote, how can we know about the pros and cons of some specific province if we're residing in the UAE? So where could someone go to learn more about Newfoundland, for example?
Excellent question. Without a doubt, this is the best province. And if you really want to know more, www.gov.nl.ca. That is the comprehensive government's website. If you wish to know further, you can also email us directly at the email address that I've provided to you, and we can answer specific questions about Newfoundland and Labrador. For example, you may be contemplating sending your children here for higher studies, or even if you're here as a worker or as a permanent resident, we can provide more information to you with regards to our two world-class institutions that we have here, Memorial University and College of the North Atlantic. So your starting point would be the Government of Newfoundland and Labrador website, which I'll provide here, gov.nl.ca. And under there, if you look under our department, Immigration, Population Growth and Skills, and click the Contact Us button, we can provide more information to you as well. Someone asked about schooling system for my children. Well, if you look under gov.nl.ca, look under Department of Education. That would provide some information to you about the K-12 system, which is from kindergarten to grade 12. If you're also interested in the post-secondary system, then this is our website for Memorial University of Newfoundland and also the College of the North Atlantic.
Yeah, and just to highlight that our K-12 system is free. Like, there are private schools that you can pay for, but the public school system is free, which is something that those of us in the Gulf, can appreciate a lot more, because that's not the case here.
Right. The K-12 system is free. We also have the Francophone system as well for those who are French speaking. So we have two systems here, the English School Board as well as the French School Board. At the same time, at the high school level, you have a choice, or your children will have a choice of following certain IB, the International Baccalaureate programs, and the AP program, the Advanced Placement programs as well, for which you will receive credit at post-secondary institutions. In addition to education, healthcare is also free. We have universal healthcare just as we do in the rest of Canada.
Another question, is there a demand for doctors who are working in COVID care hospital or clinics here in the UAE? Do they have to give their licensing exams in Canada, or is there any other exemptions that they qualify to?
I'll defer that to my colleagues at Eastern Health.
If there's anyone from Eastern Health still on the line, if not, oh, here we go. There's Danielle.
So what we would prefer to do there, well, we definitely would need an assessment of someone's credentials. But Wendy Snow, what we can do is message in the chat the contact information there for Wendy, who's our physician recruiter, and that individual can reach out directly to Wendy, and she'll provide them with the information.
Okay, great. And I have a question here, I guess again for Cameron, about French language. Like, how do I know if a company is looking for French language abilities?
Primarily, if a company is looking for those with French language abilities, it will be in the job description. For example, in the government in Labrador, we have some positions that were open for the public, and it clearly said bilingualism preferred, or like a bilingual immigration officer, for example. So you have to be fluent in both English and French, the two official languages of Canada. So I would look at the job description to see what the requirements are.
And, you know, there are also, there are other programs that we have available that are Francophone mobility programs where employers aren't required to have an LMIA, which stands for Labor Market Impact Assessment. So if you do find a company that is specifically looking for a Francophone to work there, there is a program that is facilitating Francophones to come to Canada. So there are a number of different options there for you that would facilitate you immigrating to Newfoundland. We have a question about, do different levels of jobs translate to different numbers of points in your system?
We don't have a points-based system. The only points-based system that currently exists, where we have a relationship with, is the express entry, where you're graded or you receive points based on your qualifications and your skills and your education, and that's done by the federal government. So we don't have a point system per se.
And in terms of the federal government, points are awarded based on, it's actually a little bit complicated, but essentially, to even be put in the express entry pool, you must have 1 year of full-time work experience at a not code 0A or B, which is a skilled employment. So to even be considered in the express entry program, you do have to have that minimum requirement, which does give you points, but it's more of an eligibility points, and it's not what is considered for the CRS, which is the comprehensive ranking system, which is your ranking in the pool. This is quite, it's a little bit complicated, and I can do webinars specifically about this, but essentially the answer is no. More points are not given. It's just if you don't have experience in a skilled profession, you are not eligible for express entry. Someone says, out of curiosity, do we need to do the biometrics and medical before gaining, I guess they say ITA, but I think it might apply for an EOI, an expression of interest as well. Do they need to do biometrics and medicals upfront for the Newfoundland programs, or is it after?
No, that's all after. That's only when the federal government stipulates them to do so. Just to reiterate something, someone just pointed it out, under the priority skills NL, when you submit your expression of interest, you are being graded, or you are being given some points. So in order to determine your eligibility. But the points that I was referring to was the federal government points, or the ones that will finally make you eligible for permanent residency. So the PSNL, the first step under the expression of interest, you do receive a certain amount of points, and based on that, you submit your EOI. And once we review it and you're approved, then you receive the invitation to apply. So that's the only part where the point system comes in.
And then somebody wrote, I think they mean they already applied in the express entry pool, and they said, can I change it to Newfoundland? What I would say from an officer that does assess these is You can submit a new profile, because you would just be at the profile stage at that point, so there's no fees associated with submitting a new profile. However, I think it might be prudent that when you are able to upload documents, you provide, like if you do get an ITA, you do provide an explanation for that change of heart to go along with my romance analogy. So just to explain, you know what, I put, Manitoba before because my cousin lives there and I didn't know what to put, but now I attended this webinar. I listened to the opportunities in the particular NOC code that I am applying for, and for this, and this reason, I want to go. So I think you would just want to provide an explanation for why now you are changing to Newfoundland, so that when we look at it, we understand the thought process there. I don't know, Cameron, what do you think?
Nope, that's perfectly fine. What you just said. Yeah.
And then what else?
Someone had a question about entrepreneur immigration.
Yes.
Felicity. So yes, we are excited to tell you that Newfoundland Labrador is open for business and for international entrepreneurs. Hopefully in the near future, we may be able to do another presentation specifically on our business immigration category. But just to let you know, if you are interested, you can go on our website again. Under the Provincial Nominee Program and under Entrepreneurs, there is ample information on those who are eligible to become entrepreneurs, international entrepreneurs, set up a business here or buy into a local business and run the business for at least 1 year before applying for permanent residency. So during that year when you'll be running the business and having an active role, we will assist you in getting a work permit in order for you to start a business here. So there is no direct PR entry process in Newfoundland Labrador. In fact, I don't think it exists in any province anymore. There is what we call the TR to PR model, temporary resident to permanent resident model. You come to our province, you start a business or buy into a current business, and you run that business for at least 1 full year on a work permit. That's when you're a temporary resident. Then you apply for nomination under the Provincial Nominee Program. Once we nominate you, then you apply for permanent residency, and then you apply for permanent residency with IRCC. That's when you become a PR. That's why it's called the TR to PR model.
Yep, that's right. And I saw a question related to express entry where someone said, I saw your presentation and my partner, so my spouse dependent on my express entry profile seems to fit the bill, whereas the main applicant doesn't. So what I'd like to tell people today is that you can actually have a profile for both members of the couple. So if it's husband and wife, the husband can have a express entry profile where they are the principal applicant, and also the spouse. So for example, the wife, she can also have her own express entry profile where she is the main applicant. And I encounter this question all the time, and I think it's really interesting as a woman, because oftentimes the in-demand skills that Canada really wants actually end up being sort of in female, traditionally female professions. So for example, nursing. Not to say there aren't male nurses, but just because somebody makes more money and their profession earns a higher salary doesn't actually mean that it's more in demand in Canada. So I encourage everybody, because profiles are free, that try your luck with both, and just make sure that your information is consistent on both as well, of course. There was a question, can we send an email to the recruiting companies directly?
Well, there's no recruiting companies represented per se, but the companies that the panelists that they gave the presentations to, I guess if they consent, then we can send their email addresses. Or like in Tiffany Village's presentation, there was a generic email about HR at Tiffany Village or something like that could work.
If there are some questions about people saying, oh, I don't have an express entry profile. or expression of interest. I haven't done that. What I would suggest is if from this presentation today you think that Newfoundland would be a best fit for you and your family, you can apply and create an express entry profile. You can do it from anywhere in the world. There was another question, does it have to be in the UAE? No, anywhere in the world you can apply for this with this profile. It's free. And then just when you're making the profile, indicate that you would like to go to Newfoundland. And you can specify that in the profile. We will have webinars coming up in the fall on express entry, but IRCC does have a YouTube channel where they can walk you through that process. And as I say, it's 100% free. And you don't pay anything for the express entry program until you're given an invitation to apply. Can I change my NOC code in my express entry profile after getting an EOI from a Newfoundland priority program?
I'm assuming they're probably referring to PSNL, but then that doesn't require a job, and that would be a conflict with express entry.
Yeah, I would just wonder why someone's NOC would be different if they are doing that job. That would be sort of remembering my comment earlier about consistency and honesty, and you really do sort of have to have a consistent approach to your applications. And then what else? If I received an approved expression of interest under the Priority Skills program, how many days do I have to gather and submit my application for the PNP? Is it still 90 days?
No, my understanding is when you receive the invitation to apply, you'll be given a certain deadline, and you must submit your application within that stipulated deadline to our office. What that deadline is, I could not tell you. It would probably vary from person to person. In other words, if you received your invitation to apply last week, then you were given 30 days, and that 30 days would begin from the day you received the letter. So I don't know exactly how many days, but you are given a specific number of time, deadline to submit your applications.
And also there was a question about notarizing documents. Is it necessary that documents are notarized for your programs?
In some cases, we will accept scanned documents, and in some cases, we probably will need them to be notarized. We will inform the candidates of what we prefer. Felicity, is that something your office would require as well for certain applications? Because sometimes in order to validate the authenticity, we would require some notarization of documents.
It would really depend, and on the checklist, it will indicate if a notarized document is required. So if it doesn't say that it has to be notarized, it doesn't have to be notarized. So we would specify that very clearly if it was required.
Yeah, we would do the same on our checklist.
Okay, so I'm mindful that we have 3 minutes left. Cameron, was there any question that you saw in the chat that you really wanted to address?
No, it appears there have been a lot of questions here about the priority skills in Newfoundland Labrador, the PSNL. If you have submitted your expression of interest and have not received an invitation to apply yet, it could be because we're still reviewing them. But if you really wanted to ask, I would urge you or suggest or advise that you send us an email at immigration@gov.nl.ca with your specific question. And if you have received an invitation to apply and you have a stipulated deadline, I would suggest that you submit your application or the documents as soon as possible. And yes, the second round of expression of interest will be happening imminently. In other words, very soon.
Okay, and I do see questions in here that are like directed to some of the panelists. And what I want to say to everybody is, if you think that you meet some of the requirements that our panelists, the employers, spoke about today, please reach out to them directly. And I think most of them gave their contact information. If not, you can always go to their website, and there's always a contact. There's always a way to contact it through that. But I see some really amazing people. There are a few people that wanted to talk to Dr. Richard Leach that have PhDs, and they sound absolutely brilliant. Please, this is what Canada wants. I'm sure this is what Sequence Bio wants. So please reach out to those employers and let them know who you are and what you think you could do for their company. But being mindful that we have 1 minute left, I want to thank everybody today. I want to thank Cameron. I want to thank all of our employer panelists for joining me and bearing with me for all of the technical glitches that we went through at first. This was a first try for our office, so I appreciate everybody's patience while we work through those. And I want to just do a final plug for Expo 2020. It's happening. It's going to be big. The UAE government is really pushing for it, and it will be in person as well as virtual. So please look on all of our social media channels where we will advertise the programming that we have that relates to IRCC, which could include visits either virtually or in person from provinces such as Newfoundland and Labrador. Carmel, I'll let you have the final word, since this presentation is for you and your province.
Well, Felicity, on behalf of our department and our government, I really want to thank you for arranging this for us. This has been an exciting session, and I think it was very informative for many of us. I also want to thank our panelists for taking the time and promoting not only their business, but also the opportunities that are available here. Newfoundland Labrador is open for newcomers, permanent residents, and that includes international students. Lastly, I'd also like you to consider the fact that even if you think you may not be eligible to obtain a job in our province right now, you may want to consider becoming an international student by doing your undergraduate or master's or PhD here, and then securing employment after you graduate from here. So our institutions are also open to newcomers.
Yes, that's great. So thank you everybody again. I'm so sorry. I know there's still questions, but you have our contact information to get in touch with all of us, and Newfoundland will respond to your questions. So thank you again, and please watch our social media, because I think there's interest now for Express Entry, and so we're going to do some more stuff, maybe some entrepreneur Newfoundland program talk coming up. So just keep checking our social media, and you'll hear from us soon. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.